show, perhaps this has been my most anticipated guest that I've been super excited to have on. Welcome to the show, Racquel Jones. Thank you for coming on and being a part of the program. It takes a lot to impress me, you know, especially in kind of the genre and the vein that you're in. I don't have many, for lack of a better term, hip-hop artists or lyricists on. I get tons and tons of submissions. And you are maybe like the second or third person in my 15 years of doing this that I had to get on because there was something special about you. And I know you get that a lot, you know, and I know you've been in this business and you keep on coming up and leveling up, you know, throughout your career. But can you tell me about, you know, where you were, you know, maybe 10 years ago to where you are now?
I don't see it so much as leveling up. I see it so much as owning my craft and trying to figure out what my voice is, what I want to say, how I want to uniquely say them.
But you've been doing it effortlessly.
I was very hard on myself in my creative process. It needed to feel like how it felt for me. It needed to translate like I heard it in my head audibly. And so the process may not be as effortless as it seems, but it's with a lot of effort and a lot of intention. So I'm glad it comes off like that, because every artist want to hear that their work is seamless and effortless, you know? Let's
talk about the people behind the background, because the beats and the way you are able to maneuver, you know, a song, and it jumps through like four different, like 1 second it's like a gospel, then another second it's like trip hop, and then it's just jumping.
Big up Smile, Reggie, Nick, the whole creative team around me. We're going to make music like I authentically feel it, and I need you guys to be on board. And they were so excited. They took my vision and they made it into something even more magical. So I was like, we're going to be obedient to the music. If I feel it here, this the way I feel it, I want it that way. If I want chaos right here, then I want to sing right there. Then I want to cry right there. And I want to moan right there. And I want to do spoken words right there. That's what we're going to do. And I need you guys to be fully on board. And they were so excited because, like they told me, they've never created a project like that. So they were very on. So each song was very intentional. So I needed Sacrilege to be aggressive, to be grungy, to be very in your face. Like I heard the song in my head, and they killed it. They completely killed it.
The way you use words in your writing, is it like one of those things that, you know, you like walk into a store or somewhere and then you hear just a weird like word and then you're like, how can I use that? Or does that just get incepted in you some way?
So my mom is a teacher. So there were books around. So that's how I fell in love with words and using words to paint a picture. And then I started writing poetry as a child, and it evolved from there. What's important for me is that my words, my lyrics to my song read as poetry when you put them on paper without a beat or a melody behind it. So I'm very particular in the way I use words and I play with words. Because to me, words by itself is a whole different art form, and it's so beautiful, and that's how we express ourselves. So why not get creative with how we use those words?
Do you ever walk around carrying a thesaurus, or are you investing in any of those types of like books?
No, but if I do hear a word that's unfamiliar, I look it up.
I saw a post that you did, and it was about two of the albums that impacted your life. One of them was The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, and the other was DMX. DMX recently, you know, has gone to the big party in the sky, and I know he was a very impactful on you. And if we could talk about DMX and where you are with the terms that you've come with spirituality.
The DMX and the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill album influenced me similarly and differently. So I was attracted to the flow and the freedom that DMX had to say whatever the hell he wanted. This minute he's praying, next minute he's angry and he might hurt somebody. And he's all about his dogs and his friends and his family. And this minute he's paranoid and he's untrusting and he's not sure about who is around him. But then Lornell was philosophical, was beautiful, was passionate. And I still have not heard any female, no disrespect to anybody in hip hop, to spit like that yet. To this day. Nobody. In regard to spirituality, this is a tough one because I feel like I keep breaking my mom's heart ever since Sacrilege.
It's true. Sacrilege was a crazy video, and I'm like, oh my God, this is insane. You know what? It must be an interesting conversation anytime you and your mom get together, because there's the artist, and then there's, the daughter, and
that they raised in the church.
Yeah, and it's those two people that are within you that are fighting for, for one, just to be who you are. Because I know sometimes we feel like we're split people, but we have to, combine them.
Yeah, they don't fight to coexist anymore, because I had an epiphany a while ago when I was in the process of fighting for these things to coexist. Racquel, the visual artist, Racquel, the recording artist, Racquel, the preacher's kid, Racquel, the liberal artist. And it was a challenge. And then I had this epiphany of me as a child. All those things coexisted effortlessly before it got complicated by expectations. And I'm back to that stage right now where I'm a child again, where those things effortlessly coexist. And it's not for me to explain to people who I am in order to be accepted. It's so people to understand that we're all different, we're all diverse, and we'll choose our own path. And you just gotta let that go. You just got that. That's this thing about human beings, is that we impose all these expectations and our personal norms and morals onto people, and then it takes away our freedom. I'm not with that. But in all seriousness about Sacrilege, I feel as if people are outraged because of fear, one, and two, because they haven't taken the time out to understand that the biggest lie, one of the biggest lie that we were told, was that religion is related to spirituality. And as soon as we began combining those two things, that's where it got confusing. I can be a spiritual person and I can denounce religion, which is what I did in Sacrilege. Never once did I say I did not believe in God. Right. Fuck anybody who believed in God. I'm just saying shit ain't adding up. I'm just saying, with my history as a Black people, with my ancestors' history, this was a tool used to punish us, used to enslave us. Hello, why the fuck aren't we talking about that?
Yeah, and
when is it a safe space for us to say, okay, there's scriptures in the Bible that aren't adding up. There's scriptures in the Bible that goes against all of what we fought for as a people. When do we get the space to talk about that? The fact that religion is the thing that caused one of the greatest divide to humanity. Religion and racism, and oftentimes those two things go together. Let's look at what's happening with Israel and Palestine right now. There is no way we can talk about what's happening without religion being the undertone of all of what's going on. Why do we need that?
And I love that this album is exploring that conversation.
Yeah.
And you're doing so much with your words and your music. But with that, you're also doing so much with your painting. I just found out that you're a painter as well. And you can actually win a painting of yours. Is it the one that you're sitting next to you right now?
No, this is the cover of my album. I mean, it's like frustrating sometimes because I'm equally a visual artist like I am a recording artist. And this project was the project that I equally combined the two. So, for example, like I have a song, a painting for each song on the record. This is just the album cover that I intend to exhibit soon in the future. But the music was half of the project. The visual interpretation was the next half of the project. So it's not like I'm a hobby painter. I went to school to do this, and I finally figured out how to do them together. And I just want people to acknowledge that I do them together. So yeah, but I'm giving away a painting to a fan.
That's cool. And I went out and I checked out the rules, and literally you can easily rack up 19 points in less than like 3 minutes. It's super simple. You're not making it super hard to win this painting. So, go check out, RacquelJones.com for more information on that. One of my favorite songs on your album was Ugly. It just really spoke to me. Don't get me wrong, I like them all, but like that's the one that got to me the most, and I was really vibing on. I know you were a fashion model as well, and that point of fashion, because all your music, I saw the Queen, Sacrilege, still fashionable. By the way, everything in that.
Thank you.
Do you make sure that even though your music videos are within still that kind of like fashion realm?
Aesthetic is important to me. We pay attention to stuff like that, things that are visually appealing, and I have fun doing that part. So that's important for me, as I'm also a visual artist. But in terms of that song, so Ugly is about addressing beauty constructs and idealism as it relates to beauty. I'm a Black woman. I'm a darker skinned Black woman who grew up in a very superficial industry. I've been involved with modeling. I've been involved with pageantry. And it breaks my heart to see some of the most beautiful, I think all people are beautiful, by the way, some of the most beautiful women in the world be so insecure, be called ugly, be picked apart physically by their appearance. The one thing that we don't have a say in, there are people who decide that you do not fit within this mold of what we consider to be beauty. Who decide that of what we consider to be beautiful? It hurts my heart because it's like what we get to do is to take care of it. We don't get to choose it. And we're all so unique and diverse and so beautiful. So that song was exploring that. Maybe I'm not your ideal. Maybe I'm not a model. Maybe I'm not all those things. But guess what? I know who the fuck I am. Because when I look in the mirror, I am okay with who I am seeing. So that song was questioning all of that and saying to people like, I will never fit your mold, and I'm okay with myself, and I find things that are beautiful about myself, and I love myself. So that was what that song was about.
And not only that, but that song just really, hammers home the song Queen. Did Queen come first, and then, from there you were able to kind of really mold the album, or was Queen kind of like a last song where you're like, you know what, after all these, tracks, I realized that I am a queen?
So Queen, it's crazy because Queen was the last song recorded. The album is kind of a little bit in order, a little bit in some way, but Queen was the last song that was recorded. So the album is about addressing stereotype, right? And I dive deep in there, blurring the lines of wrong or right, but just really a rant on all these things from a first person's perspective. I needed to end the album on a high note where I feel empowered as a woman, where I allow other women to feel empowered, because I feel like women are some of the most marginalized people in the world. And we face a lot of the stereotypes, black, white, purple, pink, whatever we are, woman, we've got it very hard. You know what I mean? So I needed to end it in a way that empowers me and empowers other women despite everything that we face, to remind us that, okay, I'm a queen, I'm regal, I'm all of that, but I'm also a powerful, edgy, strong, badass bitch too. So I needed to end it on a positive note.
and it did, because I'm kissing your ground if I see you, and I know you're in LA, so the chances of us running in together are very slim. But just know, if you ever see a weirdo just like kissing the ground, like, I was like, That's to you. So
That's beautiful. But we just all gotta figuratively kiss the ground that women walk on, where we give birth, we're nurturers, we're the emotion of this whole existence, we're the thing that connects everything together. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a song for men too, to acknowledge that let's be a little bit more appreciative of women. Let's remind them that you're doing great, you're amazing, you're awesome. Let's just give them that type of love and that type of motivation. Because trust me, speaking as a woman, it will mean so much and it will change so much for us.
You know, we need to see the woman's point of view as well. So thank you for
it's a lot, man. I still struggle with that so much, and I have to remember not to be angered by it. And I don't even know if that's the right approach to take also. Like, I still need to feel like it's okay to be expressive of how I feel as a woman without those impositions of, you can't do that. You know, it's like, I don't get to be strong and fragile. I don't get to be self-aware within the scope of my work. I don't get to know what I want, and there's a space for that without a man being offended by my confidence, or me being aware, or me knowing what I want. You know, I don't get the same space to address my emotions. You know, I don't get the same space to be different from what people have previously experienced with other women, other guys have experienced with other women. So it's all these things that combine that kind of gags us and doesn't give us the freedom to be completely ourselves and to be empowered women. But we spend so much time fighting to be who we are and not evolving to our fullest potential. And it's a thing that bothers me so much. I am still fighting my battles with that every day, just to occupy the space that I'm in and be my complete self. That's my fight. Just to be free, just to be myself. And a lot of people, especially men, are so intimidated, offended by this. And I just cannot understand it.
I think the intimidation just comes from your confidence and knowing, you know, that you're, you know, when you walk in, you captivate the room, you know, and that is, you know, very, you know, discerning to some men, you know. So I think that's kind of where it is with that. But I love what you're doing, and you know, I'm here to help you in any way. But you know, as you were saying that, it reminded me again of your Instagram, which I've totally checked out, and make sure to go check her out at Racquel Jones on her IG. But I saw this white door, this photo of a white door, and it said, "Are you healed or just distracted?" And I was just like, oh my God, you know, I was like, I don't know if I'm healed or distracted, you know? So I
saw that, and it spoke to me too. During this pandemic, one of the most profound, life-changing things happened to me is that I got a chance to sit with myself. I went through a lot of things, and I was mostly distracted. And then I had to sit and I had to face them. I've been on tour for almost 4 years of my life. Before that, I was running around getting my music together. And now I had to sit with myself and face myself. I was so willing to do it because I know I needed to do that self-work, that shadow work. But it was so riveting and it was so hard. And then I realized, like, all these things that we tell ourselves that we're healed from, a lot of times we're just so distracted. We've got to sit with ourselves and we've got to feel it, even when we don't want to feel it, to get it to be healed. We can't just keep putting a Band-Aid over it and saying the cut isn't there anymore, like it's covered. No, we've got to address that wound. We've got to clean it, got to examine it, and then we've got to heal it.
Thank you for being alive. Thank you for coming out during this time.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely fascinating. And again, you know, please, you know, for more information, you know, go check her out, RacquelJones.com. That's Racquel with a C. So it's RACQ.
I get very upset when the C is left out. It's RACQUELJONES. Do not leave the C out. It's not Rachel. It's not Racquel. It's Racquel Jones.
Yes, so make sure to go check that out. For more information, I'll have all the links on the show notes. So go check that out on entertheshell.com. And I'll have links to, again, her IG. Make sure to go check that out. Facebook, her YouTube channel, because I want you to go check out her all of her videos. There was one that I didn't have enough time to check out, but it was like you live somewhere a few years ago, and I wanted to check that out because I'm like, who was she 3 years ago? You know what I mean? Let's. Cause I saw this. I saw this other interview that you did 5 years ago, and it was on some Jamaican radio station, and you couldn't have been the most opposite person. You know what I mean? Because you're all camouflaged up, and just the way you were talking, it truly did seem like you truly did a 180, from that time to now, which, I'm absolutely in love with you, in your music. So
thank you.
Yeah. So
we're evolving. We're evolving,
It's very
I hate watching myself. I cannot watch myself. Even my videos, I don't even think, I only watch them when I need to approve them. I cannot watch myself perform. I cannot watch my interviews. Like, even now you're saying that there's this performance from 3 years ago, like, I am so anxious right now because I can't even think about what that might be like.
Well, but for you, it's different. It's funny because when I look at my interviews that I've done, or I'm in the editing bay, I'm not looking at the performance. I'm reminded of what was happening during that time, during that place, whether I was experiencing technical difficulties and I was trying to rework it in my head. And so there's 1,000 things, and I'm not really looking at myself as, as an interviewer or anything. I'm more looking at the technical aspects of stuff. And sometimes that's hard, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes
it's so hard, especially like performances. It's that space where I get to be vulnerable and I get to be naked with an audience that's naked with me. So then when I have to watch myself, metaphorically be naked again, it's like weird because it's like you're standing there watching yourself in the throes of passion, being completely naked. It gets a little bit weird. Oh my God.
Yeah, but you got, just like, all sports teams, they always watch game film, and see what they can do better. And, so as long as you treat it more of as game film and like, maybe I could have like danced right here, or, maybe I could have like thrown my mic to the crowd right here, just like, stuff like that, because that's the other thing. As things open up, you're going to go back on the road. And when that happens, you have to really captivate crowds, and you're going to captivate them with your music and your lyrics.
Book, actually, but I have you're right, and I need to start doing that to critique myself and to know what to do better. But I spent 4 years in art school, and critiquing myself has kind of tainted me a little bit. I want to know that when I'm there, when I'm in that space performing, I am giving everything I got. I'm completely passionate and obedient to everything I feel. If I make that technical, it means that I start overthinking it. And then when I go on stage, I feel like that's standing in the way of my connection with my audience. Because that's the most important thing to me in that moment, is that we're creating this space where we feel each other and where we connect and where we share. They give to me, I give to them, and we create this utopia of feelings. You know what I mean? When I get to the point now where I'm in my head with that, it breaks that synergy for me. But I need to find that balance. Still evolving.
Well, it's good that you know that. You know what I mean? So, I mean, maybe you wouldn't have known if I would have just said anything. So that's good. And you are going to be touring very soon, I guess. And I'm excited. Are you going to be touring here in LA? I know that's right now where you reside. So I know you're probably going to be doing a few workup shows here in Los Angeles.
For my stuff, we're still fleshing that out. But for Thievery, we have some shows booked. I think one is booked for LA at Redondo Beach Festival. And I'm so excited because Stephen Marley and Ziggy Marley is playing the same night I'm playing. I am embarrassed that I'm more excited about that than performing, even though I haven't performed in almost 2 years. But I'm so excited to see them. So we have that show that I know about. There's something in July and a few others. So I'm back on the road with Thievery soon.
Yeah, very cool. I think I saw the poster for that. I believe Counting Crows is going to be on that bill too. I know it's like 3 days, so have fun and
yeah,
dude. I mean, there's not many times where you get to be a fan, and that gets to be one of those times where you get to be a fan. And not only that, but you get to be backstage as a fan. So you know,
and I get to see my friends too because a lot of my friends play in that band. So I'm a huge fan of Stephen Marley. Like I love Stephen Marley. And then one of my closest friends play guitar for him. So I get to fan out and hang out with my friend. Oh, and I get to perform.
There's nothing wrong with that. I got to tell you. So again, for more information, please make sure to go check her out on her website, RacquelJones.com. And that's Racquel with the C. And, you know, I'm going to have all the links to her YouTube and everything else like that. Super impressed, not only by your album, but by you as a person. Thank you.
I'm humbled.
Yeah, but thank you again. And we will leave you now with the song Queen, from one queen, you know, to all the queens out there. And thank you so much for tuning in. And again, for more information, make sure to log on to entertheshow.com.
Thank you so much. It was fun. Thank you for having me.
I'm a queen.